Welcome to the Don Pod, the supporters podcast. Here's your hosts, Sam and Nath.
3, 2, 1, yeah!
Hello, welcome back to the Don Pod, the unofficial supporters podcast of the Essendon Football Club. Happy New Year, happy 2025. I should introduce Nathan. Hello to you, sir.
Hello, Sam, and welcome to everyone. How are we all feeling?
I had that intro in my head so clearly and then just started talking and it completely went. So,
What, do you want to
good
do it
times.
again?
Nah, it's all right. Should be right.
Yeah, no,
The
who's
first one
listening?
back after a few months. It's a bit rusty,
Yeah,
but that's okay.
sure.
We're here to preview 2025. Just jump into some, essentially an hour-long vibe check for 2025.
And to really sprout things that at the end of the year we'll look back and go, what the...
Yeah, this
fuck
is what
were
we hold
thinking?
ourselves
Yeah.
accountable
Oh.
to for the whole year. Last year, we actually, surprisingly nailed it because we said we'd be happy
Did we?
with the same. And
Oh,
we
and
got
the same.
exactly the same season. So, I mean...
Yeah, but
there's
were
four-
we happy? I don't think we were happy in the end.
No. That's
We
a
tell
different...
ourselves that.
That's an entirely different
Yeah,
question.
that's right. Yeah.
But yes. So we'll go through. Look, there's no real. I mean, there's a bit of a structure. We're just gonna, do what fans do and get excited about particular players who are
Yeah, that's
quote
right.
unquote training the house down.
Oh, I love that expression.
And just before we've seen a ball kicked against proper opposition, just see how we feel.
Which is this next. Well, yeah, this Saturday, isn't it?
Saturday coming,
The
it's
dog.
with-
Yeah, Saturday coming. The Bulldogs game. So
Recording this on the Sunday prior.
yep.
So just a few injuries now. I think there's a few more, but these are the main ones. Guelphy's out for 10 to 12 weeks with
Yep.
another hamstring. Mate's got hamstrings made of paper.
It's very consistent the last few years, isn't he? Just it seems to.
Frustrating. Parrish back complaint, but should start the season. Won't play against the Bulldogs at the very least.
Don't like hearing that.
Same with Durham, who has a rib complaint, but won't play the Dogs.
okay.
Should start the season. Not sure about the proper Reggie Geelong pre-season game the following week. The first section we've got here.
Is that all in our injured?
Well, I think there's a few more minor ones. I'm just not 100%.
I heard Jones hurt himself in a practice games and was sort of maybe missed a week or so, but maybe rolled an ankle or something.
Okay. Way to call me out in front of my friends. Thanks.
Awkward.
There might be a few more. Like,
Well, hang on, friends.
Well,
I'm here, so
yeah, it's 100% friend attendance for me. I
Yeah,
get
it's
it.
the only
Ha-ha.
friend you've got, buddy.
All our listeners, they're our friends, right?
Are they your friends though? I think they're
Yeah.
my friends. Go.
Okay. It's a big year 4. This is the first little segment that we've got. And I think we got two angles to this. The first one is who do we think sort of up and coming, breaking into the best 22, a big season of improvement ahead. And then the second part is it's still a big year 4, but as in they might be on the outer. Come the end of the year, we might be talking about their place in the team or their place on the list even entirely. So it's a big year 4, breaking into the best 22. Now, we both have the same first one, and this is entirely one of those scenarios I mentioned earlier, that he is training the house down, and that is Elijah Sardis.
Yep. Which is great. Like
It is.
third year at the club, third year at the club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, third year at the club.
Yep.
We should know that. These are the sort of stats that a good
Basic
podcaster would know.
Yep.
Not question each other. Go third, second. I don't know. He's been here a
Anyway,
while.
third-ish. Yep.
Yeah, third-ish. Yep.
I think we're right, because he debuted at the end of 22.
Yeah.
Full
I feel
season last
confident.
year, and this is his third season. Yes, I'm happy with that.
Yep. So,
His-
was a pick 6 or again stats?
We've
So
got,
good at it.
We've got a spreadsheet for this.
We do have a spreadsheet for this stuff. It was a very high pick, and have not seen a lot of him. He played. I remember that first game he played. He looked all right, or maybe it was the second game he looked all right. Then he went back to the VFL, had some good numbers, then came back in and.
Well, I think that's the thing. So pick 5 in 2022. So we are right. This is his third season. He's heading into. He was getting the midfield minutes that he needed in the twos. So he was playing that in and under role and
Yep.
being a bit of a bull, and he was getting 35 touches a couple of times plus.
And I don't have a problem with them doing that in the
No,
VF, playing the
not
role
at
that
all.
they're going to play in the senior football.
That's what
As
they
long as
should be
when he
doing.
comes in, yeah, as long as if he gets into the senior team, which we hope he does, that he plays that same role.
They're
Like
not
I
just
don't
going
want
to
to
bung
see him.
him on the wing and hope.
Yeah, I don't want to see him as a half forward slash midfielder.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But there is, it's fair to say there's a lot of hype right now
Mm.
about Elijah, and it's nice. It's good. It's a good feeling to have to jump on a player pre-season.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we
Um,
wouldn't be Robinson Crusoe on this one, like
what?
we wouldn't be
What?
the only one.
Ah, okay. Thank you. It's not a saying I've ever heard before.
Young are you?
Uh, Younger than you. Um, well, it's hard because we're going to be excited for him, but it's kind of
Mm.
hard to go into a lot of detail
Well,
because there's
what we're
just
hearing is that his
a lot.
clearance works unreal in the practice games. His kicking's improved, which was a bit of an issue. We're hearing that, like he's just looking good, looking great. So these are all really exciting things. This is that natural progression, like we saw it with Durham last year, didn't we? Where he
Exploded.
played, I'm going to say, 10 to 11 really good games of footy.
Mhm.
And we thought, okay, hopefully we see that progression a bit more again this year. We want to see 15, 16 good games of footy. You can't just, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, this is
can't just have
sort
one
of
year. Mm.
this question that we're asking now. It's a big year four. Who's going to have the biggest sort of percentage of improvement?
Yeah.
And Sardis is an easy one to pick because he didn't really have a great AFL
Just,
level baseline, at
yeah.
least.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like you said, it's that natural progression. It's what you hope to
Mm.
see
Yep.
third, fourth, fifth season, or third or fourth season of a.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to
Well,
see.
and it's like, I mean, last year we'd say, as I said, Durham and
Mm,
Caldwell was that other one that
mm,
really lifted his output. Now he became a really consistent football player
yep.
throughout the whole year. I would rate his year better than Durham because he was just
He was
at a
consistent.
level every week. Yeah,
Yep.
like
Yep. Totally agree. We both had the same second one,
hmm
which again, in terms of percentages, it's not hard because he played half a game of football in 2024, and that is Zack Reid.
And this one's more about the importance. Like Sardis is a bit more about the individual.
Hmm.
We want him to do well because he's a pick five, and we want top picks to be good football players.
And he's wearing the
And
number
whereas,
five.
yeah, and Reed also was a high pick, but he's so important to our structure. Like at the moment, Ridley, as you mentioned,
Oh, Ridley is a little
is
bit injured too. Yeah, I forgot
is
him.
carrying an injury. You
My
mentioned
bad.
that earlier. I heard that. Yep, everyone replay. He's injured at the moment, which flags go up, meow, 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 like an
Mhm.
alarm goes off in our heads from the last couple of years after his All Australian year. That the 2 years since that, he's just
Quads.
been injured. Yeah, he's been injured, and it's a concern. So Mackay also has had what would you call it,
He's
like
been
a
managed,
managed preseason? I
which
don't
is
know.
not
So,
uncommon for your real senior
yep,
players. You don't want to drive them
yeah,
into the
real
ground.
senior players only played about 80, 90 games, but
Yeah,
anyway,
but they're seasoned bodies at this point.
yep,
They
very
don't
well.
need the pre-seasons as much. I mean, they do, but
Yeah, yeah.
you
He
take it a
doesn't
bit.
run as much. He stays on the ground a lot. So with Mackay, Ridley, we've lost. And this is the other thing too, a part of all these guys is that out of the best 22, Heppel, Kelly, out of the back six. Now, say what you will about the two guys and how important they were, they still played every game. I think they both
But they
maybe
played
missed
the
one
vast
game.
majority. Yeah, you're right.
Heppel was dropped for one, but came back.
Hmm.
And Kelly, I feel like maybe had an injury
Kelly
for
missed a
one or two.
few, I reckon.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway,
So
this is
anyway, they were best 22. I would argue that last year, maybe not in the last five games, but in
Mhm.
most of the year they were best 22. So we've got to find a couple of replacements for them.
So circling back to Zack Reid.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's your job now.
Boom.
I've lined
Oh,
it up
okay.
for you.
You've set me up with nothing. Cool.
Yep.
Really good. I think you're right, just in the sense that he's
Okay.
important for the structure of the back six, and maybe not in 2025, but
No, he just needs to
if
play in 2025.
we are going to be pushing top four in the next, I don't even know what is a reasonable
15
length of
years.
time, let's say 3 to 4 years, he's going to be a big part of that with
With
him being the
Mackay.
number, if he's the number one defender in, let's say 5 years' time, maybe 4 years' time for the sake of argument, then
Yep.
Mackay is a very good second.
Well, Mackay and Ridley become, well, probably hopefully not 4 years. I'm looking more like 2 years. But Mackay and Ridley become those guys that just cover, and Ridley uses his, float in, float out skills and kicking skills. And I hear Reid's skills are very good too with the foot by foot.
Yeah.
So he's just structurally is really important for us to have that second really big unit, 202 centimeter sort of guy
Still growing.
that's still growing. Hope not. That he just you look at two first names up at Brisbane.
Harris Andrews.
Yep.
Not an A
How
grader, according to Kane Corns.
really? That's strange. Anyway, I think the thing about him that stands out is that he just does a job, and because of his height, and speed, he does a job on so many players, and that allows their not as well known tall defenders to then work their
Well, I
guts out.
mean, Starcevic,
It's not
prime
well
example.
known,
No,
but
that's
he's
what
a
I
good
mean. But
football player.
prime
Yeah,
example, he was unreal in that grand final.
yeah,
He
exactly.
had a guy like Harris Andrews next to him.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah,
So I'm hoping, praying to God, that Reid becomes like a Fletcher that we've had before, and a Harris Andrews sort of defender. That guy, just big, tall, beautiful skills, quick.
premiership
But
captain.
he's got to play footy. Like half a game last year,
Yes.
big concern.
And I
If
think
that breaks
that's
down early this year, I don't know. Do we keep going?
the wins are out of the sails. Yeah, you keep going. Anyone, and you might experience this next week. Anyone who's ever stood next to Zack Reid, like he is, I can't even describe the height. Like I know you can say 202 centimeters, whatever. Sam Draper doesn't have that vibe, that aura. There's
Yep.
something about standing next to Reid. Holy fuck. He's a big dude. But yes,
Yep.
if we can get 10 games out of him, and I'm happy to manage him, I'm happy for him to play the first 5 weeks in the VFL, whatever it takes, not that though, to get him.
Well, what's the difference if he's played all the preseason? He just plays round one, doesn't he? There's no. You
Well, you
think the
can
body can
manage,
cope?
you can maybe
Surely
manage
you.
him VFL, half a game.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just trying to be
I
cautious.
don't know either.
Dude.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have anyone else on the list, which is unfortunate. I was going to come back to it because initially I just copied you to be funny, and then I forgot
Good.
to come back and change
You
it.
did too, because you haven't. You've got to fix it up on the next list too.
Yep. You've got
Well, I'll do
Hobbs,
my
and I'm wondering if you
Mhm.
meant him for that category. Do you think we're going to see a lot of improvement out of him, or did you view him more as the player who might be under the pump?
Well, a bit like the comments about Sardis is that Hobbs is now in his fourth year. He's a year ahead of Sardis, and towards last year he couldn't get a game. I think, and the problem with Hobbsy is that well, he can't. He's not a half forward. I don't think he's got the skills to play that role.
He's a
He has to play as that in and under
bull
midfielder,
midfielder. Yeah.
but has Sardis passed him, or we've seemed to have a fair few of them. If I'm honest. That's why I don't mind the idea of there's talk that Merritt will play as not that he's an in and under, but he'll play as a halfback, more of a halfback role, sort of push Martin out, and Martin will go onto the wings this year, which I like the idea of, to be honest. So, because I do think the team, this will sound stupid, I know. For the team to be better, we need to rely less on Zach Merritt.
That's a bit silly. I get that, but not unreasonable. I think
Mm.
taking him out of the midfield is a little bit robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah,
Because if I want anyone kicking the ball inside 50,
yeah,
it's
I
Merritt.
get that. I get that. But the reality is Zach Merritt's nearly 30. Might even be 30, I'm not sure. Again, stats.
Again, have a look.
He
He is 30.
Yeah, okay. So you've just said that 3 or 4 years before we're,
Yeah, he's not in the picture. I know. And this
yeah.
makes
So
me
that's
so
all I'm
sad.
thinking is that the reality of poor old Zach Merritt is he might do a Heppel and never win a final playing for Essendon Football Club, which
I think Merritt's longevity
sad
might
about, yeah.
help there. And I'm hoping to hell because that man deserves
Yep.
a lot more than what we're currently giving him. Fair enough on Hobbs. I think he's
Well, I just think for him it's sorry, keep going.
his lack of an opposite foot really has hindered him at critical moments, usually in front of goal because that's when it matters the most. But he's capable of being that bull midfielder. But like you say, opportunity is the other question. And if he spends another 18 out of 23 rounds in the VFL, and if I'm him, I might be starting to go, well,
I'll be looking elsewhere, definitely.
can I
Well-
play every game at somewhere else. I don't know where.
Richmond.
St Kilda. Like,
Yeah, well, they get injuries too. Well, the example too with Hobbs is that 2 years ago when Parrish did get injured after playing some good footy at the start of the year, Hobbs came in and was a really good replacement for him. But Parrish came back and they kicked Hobbs back out, and that's fair enough. He's in that
that's
pecking
fine.
order.
Darcy
He's
Parish can do
below it.
that.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
below him.
Yep.
And until something changes, then I don't see how he pushes into that midfield, and I don't see his value in the other. I don't see him playing as a half forward. We've got too many other guys that I think are slightly better than at that role than him.
Yeah. I'm cautious not to be expect too much from these guys too quickly. But I think when you're heading into your fourth season,
Fourth year,
we
yeah,
should have started to see something, or at least him breaking in. And 4 years ago, when did we? What number's Durham? For God's sake,
22.
22. So he was a mid-season draft pick in 2021. So that's the same year as Hobbs. That was Hobbs' first year. Is that right?
Yeah.
Durham's gone
Well, Nick
past him.
Martin was picked after him. Well, Nick Martin's come a year after him, has gone past him.
but
I know
like
they're a bit older.
Martin's probably a different kettle of fish there, but Durham, who was a mid-season draft pick, has gone past him.
Yep.
Significantly so. So,
And that's because of Durham's attributes far outweigh
that's right.
Hobbs. For example, Durham marks the ball above his head
He's clean.
very, very well. Like, he can
quick.
take a pack mark.
Yeah.
So, whereas Hobbs doesn't, I've never seen him do that.
No, he's only like 180 centimeters, no?
I don't think
183.
Durham's not a giant of a man. Like, he just jumps.
It does as
He's
185.
rangy.
That's a very good.
Yeah, so he's
call out for you.
rangy. Yeah, thank you.
Rangy.
Hey!
Long arms.
Long arms.
Yeah. Anyway,
they're just different types of footballers. Hobbs has to play on the inside, and at the moment, he's not the best inside midfielder.
Mm-hmm. Yep, agreed. Anyone else that you think we're going to see some improvement out of? I'm going to chuck Caddy in there just because I think that's an easy shout to make right now.
Yep.
Low-hanging fruit, I'll be honest.
I'm not picking like Kako or anyone like that because
oh no, they can't do draftees. That's a bit
because you can never see
baseline.
He's never played AFL before, so So if he plays a whole season, that's great. But the reality is, I don't know.
Well, on that, just quickly, we're expecting Kako to at least play round one.
I think Kako might play early. He's everything. Again reading from the preseason stuff. His pressure is one of the things he's really bringing to that forward line, which especially without Guelphy there, obviously you could assume for most of the year now. That's something that we're going to need to really have. Like, you could argue that Stringer wasn't very good at that. So if
you could argue, yes,
you could argue and you'd win.
Yes. In open shut.
So it'd be very open and shut. Stringer didn't do those things unless it suited him. Yeah. And the guy was near him. He goes, "I'll go tackle that."
Well, that was that one time he destroyed Libba.
Chase someone.
Remember he spear tackled Libba just about.
Oh yeah. So I could see and I'm just making an assumption, if Kako is a direct replacement for Stringer in that front six, then he's going to bring that. He's not going to kick 50 goals, I doubt, but he'll bring a lot of that excitement, pressure. And he's a big unit. Like what I love about him is his size. He's a good-sized young man.
I think for me, it's going to be kind of like what I hoped Alwyn Davey Jr. was going to bring.
Yeah.
Bit of
I get you.
Useful exuberance, but I feel, the draft pick region would suggest this as well.
Yep.
Bit more polish, bit more skillful. Kako was a pick 10, whatever it was, and Davey Jr. slipped to like 40 something.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
I think there too that again, I think they'll put that down to size. Davey Jr. was undersized when he got to the club, and I think he. I don't know how to say this politely, but he looked intimidated by the bigger boys. Whereas I haven't seen Kako play, but he looks like the sort of kid in the under 18 stuff I've watched that doesn't look like he's going to be worried about that sort of shit.
I got this.
I think he's going to enjoy the physical side of it.
Very good. Right. The next part of it's a big year for is who's under the pump. Now, I know I've copied you with this, but I find it hard to
I'm telling you people,
argue.
this podcast wouldn't survive without me.
All right, next week you can record. You can set it all up, do all the.
I don't know how to do that, Sam. You know that.
Exactly right. Just wanted to hear you say it.
I struggle to get into Zoom when he wants me to.
The nerve of you. Um, I can't disagree with this list, and I think if I was to go away and compile my own, three, that's exactly who
Mm.
I would have come back with. So the first one, and probably the least concern, I don't know, is
Well, I think the most concerned for
well, yeah,
me.
yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Archie Perkins. So
Mm.
was dropped late last year. Um, just
And
started the season like round one
oh,
was best on ground. May have even got 3 Brownlow votes.
we had the little picture of the crown.
Yeah, the Crown. That was my best
He was
thumbnail ever.
in the
Yep.
first game. He had like 20 something, kicked a few goals, and we were like, okay, this is it. Season 3 or 4. This is the year. Far out, didn't he fall from that?
And he went so bad that
A
he
couple of
ended
games,
up
I reckon he had like
out of the
one
team.
touch.
Yeah, he was bad. Sorry, I'm just trying to find if he actually did get 3 votes in that game against Hawthorn.
He would have had to, wouldn't he? Well, yeah. While you're researching that, like towards the middle part of the season, his season had fallen so badly that he was barely getting touches, and he was then sent to the VFL. And I
What
was like,
was a 3 vote game?
what? Yeah. Now, how do you go from that to the VFL?
I don't know. You can't say it's really role. He was sort of playing
No.
in that similar role for most of the year. Um,
Opportunities there for him.
so I mean, what do you take from that? Do you take that the skill level's there? It's
Yeah.
he's capable.
hmm
Then
But
what?
you can't turn it on every week, and that's one of the things that frustrates me about a few of our players
Mm,
is that they can, like, like let's look at the Durham one again. He beat the Bont in that game that we all talk about.
that was the breakout game.
The breakout. The problem was that a week or two after that he had some ordinary games. Like he was, wasn't
That's
great.
okay. You don't have to be.
But the Bont went on to have he came second in the Brownlow, didn't he, or third in the Brownlow? So he went on to have best and fair, best on grounds after that and after that. Yeah, he got beaten that week, but he went boom, boom, boom weeks after that.
And that's what
And
makes.
although Durham he took that scalp, he then faded off, I reckon, in the season after that. And we talked about it a little bit. Oh, but when he beat the Bont, well, he's got to do that again this year for a lot. Like I can't have a guy that just pops up, and that's why I feel the problem with Perkins is pops up for a week. Hey, look at me! I can kick goals from the pocket, and then next week, nah, I don't really like the footy. It's too bright. I don't like to touch it.
Yep, it's a concern. The next one on our list is Peter Wright, and I don't think there
Yeah,
needs to be a lot said. He was dropped last year again.
yeah,
Went from being a 50-goal forward to
yeah.
elbowing or shouldering a bloke in the head, and then seemingly lost all footballing
Confidence,
ability.
or yeah. Mm.
I have no doubt the man can still kick. It's just he cannot
Yep.
take a mark.
His hands have turned to shit.
Yeah, don't know what that's all
And I
about.
don't know if that was a problem up at the Gold Coast. I mean, I don't remember why he wasn't getting games up there.
But we've seen it even when he was playing okay. He would get first hands to the ball
Yeah, you're right.
virtually every time, and then just not be able to take the mark. Now, do we kick it too often straight on his head? Absolutely. Do forwards need it kicked out in front and not just constantly plonked on their head?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But there was times where he was just dropping chest marks just about like,
Yeah.
and I've seen some footage from training, and it's not gotten much better.
No, I've heard that he's still not clunking it very well. Do you think then, a question to you and the group is, do you think he'll be better off, and I'm making the assumption that with Nick, Bryant and Sam Draper playing, I'm going to assume every game as ruck forward combos, that helps him. He doesn't have to ruck. He just, okay, I'm just playing a forward role, just focus on that.
Well, I think
Because there'd be no games unless someone gets injured where he's playing in the ruck again.
yeah, I think there's an argument there that might help him.
Hmm.
Gets his hands on the footy and
Or playing in the ruck.
playing in the right. Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, a
yeah,
throwback to Danaher, which I know is a long time ago. If he was having a shit game as a forward, you chuck him in the ruck,
yeah.
he'd do something.
Yep. Well,
Bit of a
Brisbane did that a bit
difference.
too with him.
Bit of a difference in class between the two, but um, I don't know what you do if we play 2 ruckmen, Caddy and Langford.
Paddy
There's
Langford
a
and Wright. Yeah.
conversation there, but there's a conversation there. We don't actually have to play Peter Wright.
What?
I know,
That's a
I
big
know
statement.
he's our
Wow.
guy, And
Yeah.
I love
Well, I
Paddy.
just assume he's in the best 22. I do.
I do too,
because-
but I'm saying that if we do have two ruckmen playing and one does play permanent forward,
Yep.
then that forward line with Caddy and Langford's already tall enough.
Mhm.
So there is an option there.
But see, I like Caddy as a high half forward. Like
Yep.
I like him as a really, whereas I see Wright and definitely Langford as a
Stay at
deeper
home.
forward. Like Langford is really good deep because he's a hard matchup from size and because of it when the ball hits the ground, he's got a lot of that ability, coming from a midfielder sort of background, that he's really
Mm.
dangerous.
Well,
But yeah,
we
interesting. I hadn't thought of that.
we don't know. Obviously, we're
No,
not.
we don't know.
We're just like everyone else. We're just yobbos who guess.
Asterisks, we don't know stuff.
We know nothing.
Hmm. But we know
And
things.
we know. Well,
Football,
we know
no.
some. We know. Yeah. Yeah.
Our
And
jobs, we're very good at our jobs.
well, speak for yourself. The green screen's awfully close behind me, and I got the aircon on, and I just keep thinking it's going to tumble.
Ah, you'll be right, buddy. If it crashes, we'll pause. No one will know.
Keep looking up there. That's why.
I thought you were looking at the clock, actually. Is he bored
Oh,
already?
come
God, he's looking at
on.
the
No,
time
no,
three or
no.
four times. He's going, what time is it?
If I look down there, that's the clock. The last one we've both got, and I've got a little extra on mine, is Jai
A little
Menzie,
bit
and I've
harder.
put in brackets delisted.
Yeah, that's a bit
I
harsher.
am still in shock that he got a 1 year extension on the back of his 2024 season. Just not good enough. And now you've got Kako, who presumably is just a straight upgrade and swap in his first game, first season over Jai Menzie. Conversation to be had whether you keep him as depth if he's just a decent VFL player and can come in and play a role should it be required. I have zero expectation and zero hope. And that is no
Well,
disrespect to Jai. I'm sure he's a lovely,
no.
just footballing ability,
This is
not
never
for me.
about the person. It's
Yep.
not about the person. It's about the ability of the football. But the interesting thing, though, we've seen this too. He's lost a power of weight in the preseason. Like, I don't. He looks different. Like, what's that power of weight? Probably lost 2 kilos. I don't know. Power of weight in my world is
It's a lot
50.
when you're I was going to say it's a lot when you're only 80 kilos to start with.
Yeah, that's right. We're at 145. 2 kilos, I don't even notice. Like, seriously.
That's dinner.
Yeah. It's a toilet trip.
Oh,
So,
dear.
but he does look really lean. And I think in the last few games, last year, he played on the half back line too.
Well, he played at least one game at halfback, and
Yeah. So he's a really interesting one. I agree. Like, his first year, again, he was a rookie pick, wasn't he, Menzie? He wasn't a draft pick.
yeah, mid-season, same as Durham, I think.
Yeah, if his first year, I actually thought, hey, this kid might be all right, but then he didn't progress. He sort of stayed pretty much the same, and then he started missing some easy shots and started doing some silly things, and I reckon he got dropped a bit last year, and then he came back as a back flanker, and I was like, he must be,
What?
they're like,
Yeah.
what are we doing with him? Like he's
Look, if he's
interesting one anyway.
lost a bit of weight, and I mean, not that he was overweight. I don't want to suggest
No,
that, but I
no,
mean,
that's
he's
I
less,
wasn't thinking that at all.
if he's less bulky and he's a bit more elusive and slippery and agile, he might be an okay footballer. But based on what I saw last year,
Yep.
I can't see, and I'm happy to be proven wrong. My favourite players are the ones I write off, and then they're all of a sudden they're good.
Well, the only thing about that I think that why he might have lost weight is because if you look at the Collingwood model of small forwards, what we learned from their premiership year was that they had to run up and down the ground, up and down the ground.
Yeah.
Like that was their. And I don't think there's no knock on Menzie, but it probably is. He was probably fit enough to do that. So maybe that's what he's gone and done. He's worked on that tank so he can get up and down the ground and get up and defend and get back down the other end, and that sort of stuff. Because I still think that model of Collingwood's, that'll be still teams will be playing that style. Collingwood probably be still playing it. And it won them a premiership, and it was pretty hard to fricking beat, to be honest.
It's very hard to beat.
When they had their full list.
Well, it's that whole team of champions or a champion team. When you've got everyone that can, defend,
doing the right thing,
including your forwards, and get up and put pressure on and all that, yeah, you become a pretty bloody good team. There might be some others. Excuse me, God. Get in the comments and let us know what you think. If you agree with us, disagree, if you have any other ones that you want to throw in there, let us know.
Yeah.
So our first I'm going to call it the first month. It's our first 5 games of football. It's a nice round number. We have opening round. We played the Gold Coast Suns away. We play the Hawks at the MCG. If you care, is an away game for us. We play the Adelaide Crows at the MCG. We play Port at Marvel. Then we have a bye. Great. Round 4 bye. Woo. And then we play Melbourne in Adelaide for gather round. Now, that's tough. It's actually a pretty tough first sort of 5 games.
Especially when you're us.
Especially when you lack talent, yeah. Obviously,
well, I think we've got talent. We got, yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
Just in that mood. I don't want to jump too much into previewing those games specifically, but
no.
Gold Coast, Mac Andrew last year after the siren, they beat us twice in the season. There's a bit of tension perhaps between the two clubs after Mac Andrew and hitting one of our blokes and then shushing all the supporters and generally tormenting me every week after that.
All about you.
Yeah, well, he's all about me.
The Hawks finished the year last year on a flyer, so they're going to be up and about.
Semi-finalist or prelim? It was semi, wasn't it? They lost to Port Adelaide.
I think, yeah. They won the first final, lost the second final, didn't they? Yeah.
Adelaide widely tipped, and again, just by supporters. I haven't seen any journos. Well, I mean, what do journos know?
But they're not a bad team.
They're tipped to drop a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. So that one, I'd look at and go, well, there's a good opportunity to get a win. At the MCG, we haven't probably played Adelaide at the MCG for 25 years.
Yep. If I'm tipping one of those games, it's that one because it's them at the MCG.
Yep.
Whereas the Suns at home, the Hawks, doesn't matter. They look like they might be better than us. You stop looking at it.
I just kicked it.
Oh, Port, well, they were a top 2 team last year, weren't they? Although they went out straight sets again, but they know how to win in the home and away season.
Didn't they? Oh, my God, my memory.
They went out straight sets again, didn't they? They do it every year.
My memory
and Melbourne are the one that you and I have a bit of a difference of opinion on this year. And that's, I think you're barracking for them to be very bad because of the draft pick.
just for reference, Port Adelaide beat Hawthorn in the semi-finals. So Port lost in a prelim to Sydney.
That's right. Yes. Sorry. Yep. Sorry. So they won one Port and then lost.
So what we're saying here is we're playing Gold Coast, a semi-finalist, Adelaide, a prelim finalist. Yeah, so shit's tough. And Melbourne.
And then Suns at home and Melbourne, we don't know.
Melbourne, we are, and every Essendon supporter should be fully on the bandwagon that they drop because we have their first round pick in 2025.
Yep. Sam's barracking for.
But why wouldn't we?
Yeah, I know.
We were criticised for that trade. If they finish bottom 4, we look like fucking geniuses.
Yep. I hope that we do.
Anyway, whatever. So I would be happy with 2 and 3. I think, as you said, I think Adelaide's the one where you can look at and go, yeah, probably should win that one. And if we can pinch one of the other ones, I think I'm okay. Probably being the Gold Coast, if I had to pick one. I'm not sure what to expect from them. Whereas I think Melbourne in Adelaide's a bit of a spanner in the works. I'm not sure what that means for either team. I'm also really not sure what to expect from Melbourne generally.
Do you think, though, the concerning point about what we're talking about now is that we're already... the season hasn't started. I mean, what are we trying to get out of the year? I don't know. That's another bigger question. And we're looking at it, we're going, we don't think we're better than the Suns. We don't think we're better than the Hawks. We don't think we're better than Port, and we're like... Maybe the bigger question, where do we see us at? Where do we... What do wins matter to us?
That is a question I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
Do
wins matter?
Time. Yes, wins matter. Look, we can sit here and say we'll be 5-0 and everyone would think we're dickheads.
Got there. Yes, that's true. Yeah.
The one selling point I could think for the Don Pod is that we're realistic, right? We try to be realistic.
Yep. No, I do agree with that. I don't think we try and get ahead of ourselves.
So, Hawthorn could fall. They had an unbelievable season last year. Can they do that
personally
again?
No, I don't think they can.
But I'm not sitting there watching them train every week. I've got no fucking idea. I'm worried about Essendon Football Club. And right now, on paper, based on Essendon 2024 and these teams 2024...
Yep. And that's all you can go on. All you
Port,
can honestly go on is what happened last year. And what happened last year was that we weren't very good,
we
and a
weren't
lot
very
of
good.
them were better.
Port could
Sydney
fall
Suns are
away.
headed above us. All those teams, except for Melbourne, were above us too, weren't they? No, Melbourne were below us.
Just below us, yep.
Yeah. So all those teams were above us last year. Oh no, the Crows were below us too. Stop
Oh,
saying
fucking hell,
that.
Nathan. Nothing like a good fact check.
I'll stop now.
Port could drop away. Like, how long are they going to just fall short of grand finals and not
Before they
suffer
fucking killed.
the mental
Yeah.
effects of
Or
that
sack a coach.
and sack a coach or just drop away? Yeah, like there's a world where we, maybe we go 3-2
We're 5 and zip.
or 5. I'm realistic on where we are at.
Yeah.
We're not expecting to play finals this year. I don't know
No.
about you. Sorry, I'm not expecting us to play finals this year.
No, I'm not expecting.
So
I'm not expecting it to be better than last year. But...
All right, I'm going to skip over that most improved player because I think we've already spoken about that. Sardis, you've got Dersma there as an option, which is perfectly reasonable. And I've written Caddy because I'm a Caddy fiend at this point.
Yep.
Official sponsors of Nate Caddy, the Don Pod.
I have a question.
25. Yes, go.
When does a Nathan become a Nate?
I feel like Nate
I'm a
Caddy,
Nathan. This is the only reason I'm asking this. I'm a Nathan.
I'm aware.
Never been a Nate. Never been a Nate.
I feel like, given that Nate Caddy is just Nate Caddy, it might be his actual name. We can ask him this when we see him in like 2 weeks.
But Nat Fife is Nathan Fife too.
But he's Nat. I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy because my name's
no.
boring and every single
You were Samuel?
Yeah, technically. But every single Samuel is just Sam, right? So
There's not many Samuels, yes.
Al Jackson. Anyway. Don Pod, home of the fucking digressions. Is that the right word? I don't know if that was the right word. Move on.
Digress, yep.
I digress. Season results. What do we think? Round 24, where are we going to be? Now, I kind of broke this up into better or worse ladder position and where is that improvement or not improvement going to come from? We both wrote worse. I'm kind of inclined to tweak that just to the same-ish.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with worse, but that's fine.
Okay. We are both still unsure about the back six, and that largely does come down to Zack Reid,
Injury.
Ridley, predominantly. And we were pretty fortunate last year that we kept Mackay on the park and fit.
Yep.
If he happened to go down, combined with the issues with Reid, then all of a sudden we're back in 2021 when Jaden Laverde is our number one defender.
And the thing with Mackay that continues, like until last year, I think he never played a full season at North Melbourne.
He missed. Yeah, he had sort of 15, 16, I think, in a season.
Yeah,
never.
But last year he played 23 or so, didn't he? Played every game, didn't he? 22, whatever.
He played a lot.
I'm pretty sure. Maybe he missed one anyway. But so, hopefully he plays again 23 or whatever. But there's a chance he could play 12.
Well, football players get injured. Like it does happen. It has to be a realistic consideration.
And I think that what we're saying is that we worry about our depth in our back six, in that we haven't seen Hayes, who would be the replacement for one of those guys. He's very good in the VFL.
That's a point.
We were always very impressed with him. Yeah, always impressed with him in the VFL. So, but does that translate to the AFL? We don't know. He's a pretty skinny kid. Hopefully he's been eating his McDonald's over the Christmas break and trying to put on some kgs.
I have.
We do that without a problem.
Yes.
We probably could teach the AFL boys a thing or two about how to put on some kgs.
On some kilos, yeah.
Yep. Beer. As you know, I drink my calories.
You drink your calories, yep.
Yeah. And then, so if Mackay Ridley's, it's just the preseason again, he's injured. You're like, oh, God, please. And then Reid. And, I mean, Gra, Redmond, they don't seem to be very durable, play a lot of football, but they're not guys that they're valuable, but not like Talls are. Talls are so important to the modern game, I think. Tall defenders, guys that get the ball back.
Well, I mean, we've said it 1,000 times. Defense wins your premierships, and it's still concerning. The flip side, literally and figuratively, is forward line. I think we get some improvement. I'm quite happy that although Jake Stringer is a very talented footballer, we might see some improvement just in terms of consistency with whoever replaces him.
Yep.
Again,
Well, I
hypotheticals,
think
of
a
course,
second
but
season out of Caddy is going to be really
yep,
exciting.
yep. And the midfield, we've got a deep
We've got,
midfield.
we've got,
So
yep. It's our strength.
Ruckman,
Yep.
Brian's another one we should have talked about earlier. That he's getting a good rap from the training reports.
Yep.
It got a bit of media as well for it.
Did it?
Hmm.
Oh, check that out. Well, you and
Um,
I, towards
well,
last year, were
you
massive on him.
you
I
in
was massive.
particular, yeah.
I think I dragged you across the line a bit with him. I'm massive on. He's got all the attributes I see in a modern football player. He moves really well. He's great below his knees. He kicks. He's like a 205 centimeter midfielder in the way he moves. And that other kid we drafted to as a Guerin, I think his name was
Yeah,
something
right.
like that.
Yeah.
Who's a ruckman from South Australia. The footage I watched of him, he's beautiful. And I've heard a few training reports saying that, geez, he moves really well for a big guy. So that's exciting for me because I think I'm a big fan of ruckman. I know you're not as much, but I love what they do to the game and how they can really influence really good ruckmen like Max Gawn.
As a
You know,
drive-by.
well, you don't love ruckman as much, really. And Marshall at St Kilda, and Goldstein in his prime, and guys like that, Grundy in his prime, like they were massive for teams. I still think, but yep, I think we've got two good young kids in our team at that in Draper and him.
It's fair enough.
Mm.
I see value to Ruckman, probably just not as much as others, but I want to
The
see
value.
improvement. I want to see improvement in Draper and in Brian. I
Of
I
course, yes.
doubt with Goldstein still on the list if we're going to see Guerin play AFL, but it'd be something to watch in the VFL. He was given number
Oh,
19, so I mean,
ooh, that's an important number.
David Hill, Ruckman era.
Yep.
So,
Somerville too, I think. Not Somerville. Was it Peter Somerville? He had 19 too, I think.
I'm going to leave that one to the older folk in the room.
Mm.
A lot of
27 used to be the
draftees.
Ruckman's number. That was Madden.
Yeah, which is now Mason Redmond, which I don't think you
Yeah.
can go any more polar opposite from a ruckman.
I know. I've never liked it since he's carried that 27. I said, that's Simon Madden's number, buddy. Can you take that off?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, back to my little run sheet
Yeah,
there.
sorry.
No, that's okay. I just. All right. So I think we need to put the proverbials on the line here, and I'm
Yep.
going to stick with ladder position. I don't think we need to go much deeper than
Nope.
that.
Yep.
Go.
Agree. Me? Oh, me first.
So I can
I'm
continue.
going to go. So it's 18 teams.
Never a good start.
Well, I'm just thinking, trying where bottom 4 and 5 are. 13th.
13th. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to go for the trifecta and say 11th.
Oh,
Go for
again.
a trifecta of 11th place.
And just on that, in the last few years under Brad Scott, I know I bring this up a lot with you. 11 wins both years, 11 losses last year, 12 the year before because we had a draw this year.
Last year.
And exactly like 20 points difference in points against and points for. So 2 seasons, exactly the same. Like,
That's what I was
doesn't
saying.
matter.
Like, it was exactly the same last year, but you have to say we had
Mm.
a tougher draw last year. We were given the tougher draw because the previous year we were in the middle third, whereas
We
the year
also
before
had some
that we were
horrible
in the bottom
floggings.
third. I know. I'm just saying. I'm trying to help. Trying to
Yeah,
just hype a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit here.
Yep,
We'll
fair
have a
enough.
similar draw again this year. I think when that came out, we were one of the toughest draws, but I don't know how they worked that out. To be truthful with you,
But do you think that then without Heppel, and I know these aren't world beaters, but Heppel, Kelly,
well,
Stringer, and Hind out of those, I'm going to call it best 24. Hind played a fair bit of footy last year. Well, how will that affect? Because the guys replacing them will be young kids.
but that's okay. I said to you last year and on the
Mm.
podcast that I don't mind Jake Kelly, Dyson Heppel, Jaden Laverde in the side. I just hate having all three of them.
Yeah, I know. We're
So
not getting that this year.
that now just becomes Jaden Laverde if he plays at all, which I imagine he will. If there's any injuries, he has to
Yeah.
play.
He'll play
But
round 1,
I
I
still
would
think
imagine.
that's marginal improvement on having Kelly, in particular Kelly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Heppel, I see the attraction to him playing, but meh.
But
I
mm,
just didn't do it for me. I love Dyson, good bloke, but I don't know what he was giving us in terms
my
of
concern is that they were senior football players who,
yeah, that's
although we might not have loved the way they played, I would argue that Kelly, when he wasn't playing on a wing, when he was playing as a defender, at least doing a job and not doing it unreal. But so the kids that will replace him are like that. Sard probably will get a game. He's
Yes, another
been
one we haven't mentioned. He looks pretty
well
good.
again. Never played senior football, so I
As
don't
a
want to put
yeah.
pressure on him. There's a few other kids like the Johnson, the Day Wicks. They sound like and there's a Clark. He's been winning our time trials.
Mhm.
So what I'm very excited about is the draft group from this year actually sound like we've recruited the right types of players. If they turn into senior great football players, I don't know that, but they look like the right types of players.
And this is the
So
issue.
that
We
does,
don't know this yet.
that's
Even
that's what
if
you're guessing on.
yeah,
Mm.
if it is that geezer you mentioned earlier, played VFL all
So
last year, hasn't played AFL yet, but we really like him. Rebounding defender.
Hines,
No. On our list. Kid. Oh,
Clark,
jeez.
Sard,
Right.
Robertson, no, played all last year.
The he hasn't played a AFL game yet. The Ridley remake.
Hayes, did you sure it's not
Hayes,
Hayes?
thank you. Yes,
That's what I
Hayes.
said. I said
Oh,
Hayes.
I didn't hear you.
Okay,
Sorry about that. Even if it's
that's
Hayes
okay.
that comes in
Mm.
and essentially takes Kelly's spot, he can fuck up 4 times in a game. And
Well,
I'm like, okay, oh well, he'll learn. I'll get over it. Jake
I
Kelly, no,
mm, yeah.
you're a senior player. You've got no
Mm.
improvement left in you. Like, fuck
Yep,
off.
I agree 100% with what you're saying, but that's part of the reason why I think we'll be
I think we're
worse
going
this
backwards.
year is because
Yeah.
I think that we have to play those kids. Those kids won't be as good because
Are
although
you sure? Are you
well,
sure they're not going to be better?
I
Because
think they'll
Jake
have
Kelly
moments
was
where they're
pretty shit.
I think they'll have moments where they probably do look better. That's true. But over the whole
He has
season,
moments. Yeah, you're right.
like over 22 rounds, they'll have pretty bad games. Like because they are kids still, and they
Mhm.
haven't got that. Like Dyson Heppel, 250 games of football, 12, 13 seasons. That's your body. That
You
takes a
can't
lot of
replace
conditioning.
experience.
That takes a lot of conditioning just to be able to get up every week and run around and do that.
Yep. Yep. All
So
right.
that's all I'm
Well,
saying. And I don't think this is a negative thing. I don't think we'll improve.
okay.
If we do, that's great, but that's why.
I'm happy to be the positive one for a change. I'm also happy that we haven't
Yeah.
agreed. I feel like that's new for us.
Yep. What was your ladder position?
11th. I mean,
Oh,
it's
leave it
close
11th.
enough, really,
Yep.
isn't it? But we've said something different. So at the end of the
Mm.
year, one of us will be closer unless we finish 12th, in which case we were both kind of right, which would be somewhat fitting.
I reckon it'll be 9 wins. That'll be my.
I'm gonna put that on there.
Oh God.
I'm gonna go with 12 wins. Well,
Yeah,
that probably
right.
doesn't
Yeah.
get you
No,
11th.
12 wins gets you into the eight, Millie.
Not always.
Yeah, it gets you
We had
more.
12
Well,
wins
11.
last year, didn't we? And we finished
We had
11th.
11 wins and we were a game and a half out, weren't we, or something like that?
Um, we won 11 games, and you needed 13 to finish in the.
Yeah. 12
All
was
right, I'm gonna
Collingwood.
go. I'm gonna go 11 wins again. 11-11. Lucky
11,
numbers.
11, 11. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, wouldn't it? Do you think that'd be good though if we just win 11 games? I'd rather us to go
Look,
down.
honestly, if we're gonna miss finals, let's finish last. That's my theory. Get a number one draft
Yeah,
pick,
well,
Hank. Good and
yeah, fair
proper.
enough.
But
But we're not going to be worse than Richmond, so
no, I still think there's a couple of teams who are clearly below us, which is nice, I suppose. But
well, be interesting
anyway,
to see. Yeah, keep going.
all right, here we go.
Fascinating that last year the bottom four teams with points against were Richmond, North Melbourne, West Coast, which were the bottom three teams, then
And
us.
us. Yeah.
So we were the fourth worst defending team in the AFL behind three teams. One won 2 games,
Mhm.
the other one won three,
All right.
so we could easily be in that bracket next year with this
Do you
year,
want
sorry.
to? Can I just ask you a question? Just ask you to do
Mhm.
something for me real quick.
Yep.
Can I say something positive about us and our prospects for this?
Oh, God. Fucking hell. I've been positive. I think our midfield's brilliant. Rucks are good. I like
Brilliant.
Kako. I like Caddy.
Wow. Okay.
I just think our list is younger.
You're
And
just you're worried about our back six. That is solely 100% where
yep,
your focus is.
you continue to tell me defense wins. And I'm worried about our back six on the back of the fact that our back six from last year was the fourth worst back six.
Yep.
So, and we might not be technically a back six. It's the whole team defending.
Yep.
I get that. The whole
Yep.
ground needs to be defended. But we were the fourth worst team at points against.
That was a
So
weird way to say something positive.
no, it wasn't that positive at all. I'm trying to be fucking
I
honest.
know. I'm
Right?
hanging shit on you. It's fine. It's
Yeah, I
okay.
know. Yeah, I'm just like, yeah.
You're bursting my bubble a little bit here, and I'm
It
trying
usually is
to.
the other way around, to be
It
honest.
is. I'm trying to be positive. I've been felt quite flat about the season starting. I feel like we're in for a tough year, but footy's footy. Let's bring it
Footy,
back.
footy. Look, who knows? Maybe come out of the blocks win the first five. If you said like
If we
the
do that,
momentum, like you look at Hawthorn, and this is the thing. You look at Hawthorn last year. No one
no
would have
one
said they would
expected
have.
that.
No one expected them to be playing in a prelim. Most of us expected them to be a bottom two or three side for a couple of years under Sam Mitchell when he
They,
gutted that team, and
mm, there's something in that.
yeah. So they didn't even fall. Did they fall to the bottom? I don't think they even got
Oh,
a first round
they were
pick. They went
bottom
three,
three
I
at one
reckon.
point, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas North Melbourne, they've got to improve this year, don't they? They've got some
I
senior
hope
bodies
not.
in. They've got. Well, they have to. I'm sorry. I know it's going to annoy you, but they have to. If they're
Mm,
not, then I'm like, they had 3 wins last year. They have to double that, if not go to about 8 or 9.
big calls.
Mm.
Well, on that, good segue.
Mm.
Total complete and utter tangent, but reasonable
Yep.
segue. Ah. ah,
Did it
who's
fall on
winning?
you that time?
Oh, I kicked it really hard that time though. I'm moving your legs. I'm standing up. I'm edgy.
Oh, right.
Um, who's going to win the Brownlow?
I'm going to go Tom Green.
Oh, good shout. I don't hate that at all. I reckon I
No,
said him
no.
last
I
year.
just here for my good look, Sam.
Hardly even that, you'd argue. Um, that's me. I'm the
I'm here
good
for my
looking one
beautiful
here.
beard. That's
You're here
it.
for the silver fox, yeah.
Uh,
I'm going to outlandish one and said Isaac Heaney just to avoid
Isaac
being
King.
boring
Yeah,
and saying
yeah.
someone like
Yeah, no.
or.
Well, if he gets the midfield time again this year, it depends. They're a fascinating. Like, so Mills, I've been
Yeah, that's
reading
gone
about
back.
them from a fantasy perspective. Mills
Mhm,
is back in the midfield,
mhm.
so he played like weird roles last year. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they keep Heaney in the midfield because Savini got pushed in that midfield. Although Parker's gone to North, so maybe he will play.
Maybe.
Mm.
Look, like I said, just trying not to be overly boring. I know it's still a reasonably boring shout, but mm.
No, no, no. I think it's pretty different. I think
and
his odds would be unreal.
I've been boring with my Coleman. Who's winning the Coleman for you?
I've gone with McKay,
I'm assuming that's Harry, not Ben.
Ben McKay. We've gone Ben McKay too. No, Ben's playing forward this year, didn't we tell you?
Yeah. Uh,
And
I've
Wright's going to be a defender.
honestly might improve things.
Well, he doesn't have to mark the ball as much. He can punch more from the back.
I've gone with Jesse Hogan, and I know that's boring because he
Oh,
won
yeah,
it this
yeah,
year.
that
I
is a
just
bit
got a lot
boring.
of time
Yeah,
for Jesse
that
Hogan.
is a bit boring. Actually, came with last year's.
That's my shout.
Yep.
And who's playing in the grand final?
Grand final. I'm going to go Brisbane and the Dogs.
Oh, interesting.
I think the Dogs are a very good football team. I mean, their list is. When you look through their list, is phenomenal. And if that coach can actually get them playing in the right places and turning up and doing their thing, I just think they're a good list. And
Mm.
Brisbane winning it.
I think quite like giving the dogs a huge pump up and then tipping the other team.
Well, Brisbane like they've not they have the right not
Oh,
the
why
rise.
not?
What's the premiership winner? The best player on the premiership called again? Damn it!
The Norm Smith?
Yeah, they have a Norm Smith winner who's 19,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
his
yeah.
brother he's 20 maybe now. His brother just joined them, and he's meant to be better. So
Yep. It's concerning.
yeah,
I've gone slightly more out there. I've gone Brisbane. I think it's pretty easy to put the reigning premier into that
yeah,
conversation.
it's a safe bet.
And I've gone them against Fremantle. And
That's a big jump from Freo.
I'm going to say Freo for the flag. Flag mantle.
Well, they've got to get, they had 12. They've got to get up from 10th last year to the premiership. Woof.
Richmond did it in 2016.
Yeah, yeah.
They were out of the 8 in 16 and flag in 17.
And to be honest, Freo should have played finals
Yes, they
last
should have.
last year. Really,
Instead
we
of
beat them in that
Carlton.
game, and they turned to shit for the next 4 weeks, didn't they?
Oh, we were so happy too because we beat a genuine top 4 team who missed the 8.
Yeah, they lost to Port, they lost to GWS, they lost to Geelong, and then they lost to us by 1 point. If they'd beaten us, they would have had that third. They would have got into the finals
Over
and
Carlton. I can't
over
stress that
Carlton. Yep,
enough.
yep.
Anyway. They got beat. They got flogged in a final. It's fine. The other one up there for me will be GWS. I think
Yeah,
they've got to pull it together at some point.
Wonder if Stringer's fit. Has anyone seen any reports on Stringer? Is he
I
looking fit?
saw one snip of him on the GWS
He looked good in
socials.
orange, at least. We used to wear orange. So
I have
he'd be
no
comfortable
hard
on.
feelings against Stringer. I really don't have.
I still have a signed jumper of
I'm
his.
quite. Yeah, it's on the wall behind my green screen. But whatever. I think we're better off without him in a footballing sense. That is a shit
Yeah, but
bloke.
I'm not
just think we're better off.
I'm not gonna fucking hope that he has.
I'm not hoping. Yeah, I know. But when
I'm
players
still
leave,
gonna.
we don't like Danaher.
I don't want him to die or anything like that.
No,
But
fuck
a little
no,
part of
no,
me,
no.
a little part of me hopes that he's a little bit shit up at GWS. Like I don't think he will be because he's a good player, but there's a little part of me that goes, no, hope he doesn't chase. Still.
When Mason Redmond runs away from him off half back, and we go, yeah, there's the Jakey we know and love.
Oh God! Imagine what's going to be like. What round do we play then? Oh God! He's going to kick 6. He's going to be up and about for that game.
Running barrels from 70 out.
Yep. Yeah, they'll put him in the midfield for the whole game, and he'll just bull his way. Oh, actually, I put Durham on him. Durham will sort him out.
Yeah, Durham will be right. We don't play GWS. I'm still scrolling here until round 19.
Oh, mate, he'll be broken down by then.
And we play them at Marvel, so we at least get it in Melbourne.
Totally support that game, actually.
Totally support the booing of Jake Stringer. As much as I love the man, I think he's the kind of guy we can get under his skin.
If we boo him, he'll kick 6. I can guarantee he's that guy. Go, all right, I'll take that on.
Well,
and then he'll be doing the whole, when he kicks them, you're like, hey, come on, bring
remember
me
when he had that 50-metre penalty against North in one of his first couple of seasons, and he just waved to the crowd in the goal square?
Yeah, he's going to be hilarious.
That's what Jake is. That sums it up. He's a moments guy. He's a real moments guy.
He'll do it when it needs it.
If he swear to God, if he goes to GWS, wins the premiership and retires, I will be upset. How many players have left Essendon and won flags? There's a few now.
Okay, name them.
Hibbard. Hibbard went to Melbourne and won a premiership.
Yep.
Danaher.
Danaher's the other one, yep.
There was another one. I can't remember.
Monfries didn't win one of Port.
No, more
Manganese did. He did way back.
Yeah, that's more recent.
Well, I'm sorry. Okay, go back before that. Who left?
Anyway, it doesn't matter. There's at least
there's
one
2
more.
that went to Melbourne. Who was the other one? He didn't.
Well, Melksham, but he didn't play a premiership.
He didn't play there. No one went to Collingwood and won one. No one went to Richmond and won one from us. I feel like a lot have.
All right, well, two's a lot. Like, it's weird that it's happened twice.
Did the Irishman wasn't playing in the grand final game?
No, he did. Yes, he did.
Oh, okay. There's another one.
Yep. Thank you for backing my point that you were trying to argue against. Fantastic from you.
Always happy to bring myself down.
Yeah. Shut the
Prove myself wrong.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Anything else? Any other outlandish statements you want to make before we toodle off into our Sunday afternoon?
No, not really. I mean, I'm very excited about football coming back. I found myself last night sort of thinking, oh, when's footy back? Like, it's just been long enough that I want to see a game.
It's nice just to have it on, isn't it? Like Sunday afternoon, just chuck on the footy. Doesn't even have to be us. In fact, honestly, sometimes it's better when it's not us. There's no investment.
I'll be back on KO next weekend after being out of them for a while.
Bloody KO.
How about the cricket? Can we quickly talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk about that. Big Smudgy getting his average back up.
Hasn't he loved the subcontinent? He's like, I've never even seen him in a helmet. He's that casual over there.
Love the baggy green. Alex Carey got a ton he deserved. He's been batting well. He was batting well against India.
Yeah, batting very well. Yep.
And
what's that? Kuhnemann. Kuhnemann. He's been bowling quite well too.
Spinner. Yeah, it's nice to have a spinner take wickets that isn't the alleged goat.
There you go, Gary Lyon.
Yes. We might wrap up there. We'll get it done in less than an hour, which is astronomical. For season 2025, we're going to post everything on your podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple, etc., 24 hours earlier than what you'll see it on YouTube. So I'll get this up Sunday night. Hopefully YouTube will be out Monday night. And that'll be true for the rest of the season. Thank you for tuning in. We love doing this. It might not seem it. We're so happy to be back.
Yeah, and we've even matched our clothing. We're
black on black. Yep.
Because when you're fat, you wear black.
You do.
Because it's the only slimming option you've got. Even headphones. My ears look so thin right now.
My head looks small with these headphones on. It's bizarre.
Your neck looks massive.
Not in a good way either. There's people out there who have never watched us on YouTube now just imagining the worst.
Oh, yeah.
We're
We're pretty big.
We're not that bad. Promise.
Well, I am. Sam's less big than me. I have a big unit. And I don't mean like sexy, muscly big. I mean just tubby.
We're not muscly.
Muscly, man.
The silver beard does something for me. I don't know.
Okay, let's...
Anyway, trying to wrap up. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back. We'll review the Dogs game and the Geelong game separately, and then back into previews and reviews for the season proper. Go Dons.
Go the Bombers.